Thing. So now I would love to welcome our panel members from behind the curtain, and let's get to know them a little bit better, and let's get to know about their programs a little bit better. And then for the students with the three programs that are in the audience, we want to, we're excited to bring you guys on as well. So first off, welcome everybody. Today, our panel represents three university-based academic aging studies program. We've got Georgetown University, we've got UMBC, University of Maryland, Baltimore County, and we've got Virginia Tech. And let's see. So before we get started, let me sort of share with everybody how I envision today going. So sort of round one, we're going to get to know these people on the screen, who they are and how they got involved with their programs. Round two, we're going to learn about their programs and how they work and interact. Round three, we're going to learn how senior living providers can interact with their programs. And when we do that, we're also going to get to meet some of the students that are in the audience and give them the opportunity to outreach to you all on, hey, this is, my name is Joe and my dream is to work in a home care agency, or my dream is to, start a business that focuses on aging. And I think that all of us in this community, there's so many opportunities for us to outreach to these students and to these programs to benefit the lives of older adults and their loved ones. So I'm going to shut up because you guys are not here to hear me. Let's get to know our panel here. And I'm just going to start with, let me start with Jamie at UMBC, because I have to say, Jamie's the one that sort of incubated this idea, because this week or next week is Careers in Aging Week at UMBC. And that was sort of the catalyst to try to put something like this together. So Jamie, tell us a little bit about yourself and your position there at UMBC.
Sure, thanks so much, Steve. So my name is Jamie Jagers, and I work at the Erickson School of Aging at UMBC. I've been working here for about 6 years, but more importantly, I am also a graduate of our master's program, so it is near and dear to my heart. Steve is actually a graduate as well, so I'm excited to tell you a little bit about why I love the program and our students are really amazing.
Great. Okay, so then let's go down below Jamie to Pamela Teester with Virginia Tech, and then we'll finish up with our two panel members from Georgetown. Pamela, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, thank you, Steve. Thanks for having us. And Jamie, I'm so glad you thought of this call. I'm Pamela Teester. I'm a professor at Virginia Tech and the director of the Center for Gerontology. I am a graduate, actually, of Virginia Tech in public administration and public affairs. And I am the person who has the certificate in gerontology, which I got at Virginia Tech. So we have all kinds of things to share with you. We've been a long-standing certificate program, and we've just got lots of things to tell you. So thanks.
Great. And last but not least, we have two panel members from Georgetown University. And no offense to this, Andy, but ladies go first. So let's kick it off with Pamela Saunders, and tell us a little bit about your role at Georgetown.
Thank you so much, Steve. It's great to be here with you, and thanks to Jamie for thinking of it. And hi, Pamela. It's always nice to talk to the other Pamelas. So my role at Georgetown is I'm director of the master's degree in aging and health at Georgetown. We're a pretty new master's degree program. We started up with our first class in 2018. And I got into gerontology through a very different route, probably than many others. I'm a linguist by training, and I was interested in language and communication, doctor-patient communication. And then I did a lot of my gerontology training as a postdoctoral fellow. But coming back to Georgetown, I've been trying to promote aging studies, and finally we launched a program, and also have a certificate program, which Andy can tell you a little bit more about. So thank you.
Awesome. All right. And then my good friend, Andy Carl, who we've known each other, I think, for the whole 30 years that I've been in this field. But Andy, what's your role at Georgetown?
So thanks. Yes, Steve and I have Steve remembers when I didn't have a gray beard. So I'm a practitioner by training. I have a master's degree in healthcare administration and was a hospital administrator for many years. And then about 25 years ago, I got into senior living when it was pretty new, 25, almost 30 years ago. Was a founding executive with what became one of the larger senior living providers. And then went over to George Mason a number of years ago. Steve and I met that time and created the first undergraduate curricula in senior living administration. Went back out in the field as a practitioner because this is what I do for a living. I'm at my community right now. But then Dr. Saunders and I met and decided that we could have the only graduate curricula really just for senior living, which I work in as an adjunct faculty member and basically the lead instructor for the senior living courses. We can tell you more about all of that.
Awesome. Okay, so we got to know our panel members, and I'm going to kind of reverse things here. Andy and Pam, do you want to share with us what's going on over there at Georgetown University? Tell us a little bit about the program in general. Then we'll learn about the other two programs, and then we'll dive into meeting some students and learning how senior living providers can interact with you all.
Sure. I'll take Dr. Saunders had a class just before this. So what we agreed is I would get together a little PowerPoint that she hasn't seen and try to walk you through it. So Pam, bear with me. But we'll talk about the aging and health at masters, and then this is about careers in senior living as well. So we'll talk about the concentration and certificate in senior living. The MS is, and Pam, obviously, Dr. Saunders, anything I missed, just jump in here. But the master's is a 30 credit hour master's, which is what most of them are nowadays. If you do it full time, you can complete it in 3 semesters, fall, spring, summer. You can also go part-time. A lot of the courses are available on campus and online, especially now during the last year. We've all gotten more used to online. There is a required capstone research project or an internship on site, depending on the path that you follow. Very specific core courses. Look, it's all about aging. That's why we're all on the screen today. The whole world is aging. And so it's really a deep dive into understanding aging populations, theories of gerontology, aging world, biology of disease, psychology of aging, ethics of aging, policy of aging. So, I mean, this is about learning about this population. You really can't pursue any career working with aging populations if you don't foundationally understand the topic. And then we have just a great seminar series. One of the advantages of Georgetown is we're in Washington, D.C., and we have access to people from Capitol Hill, some of the top researchers in the world in Alzheimer's, memory care. Bill Novelli, who's the retired former president, CEO of ARP, happens to be on the faculty at Georgetown now. People like Bob Kramer, for those of you in senior living, who's basically kind of on the Mount Rushmore of senior living, happens to be a Georgetown alum, so happily came out and spent an hour with our students. So we're very, very fortunate to be in Washington, D.C. and have access to some really, really influential guest speakers, guest lecturers, in addition to our coursework. There are 3 areas of concentration within the master's then. Health systems administration, if you want to gravitate more into the larger healthcare industry as an administrator. Obviously, healthcare economics and policy. Again, we're Washington, D.C., lots of policy on Capitol Hill, lots of think tanks, lots of economists who are focusing on this. And then the unique thing for us is our senior living administration, which, as I said a minute ago, is really the only graduate curriculum just for senior living administration. We feel very strongly about this. It's an industry that's grown enormously. It's going to keep growing. in the years ahead. And this is a very unique skill set to be a senior living administrator. As someone who used to be a hospital CEO, I can tell you it's very different. And so really focusing core courses, senior living management and operations, which is basically a deep dive into the history and background of the industry, but then literally every single department and function administratively, how you manage those operations day to day, and the best practices and benchmarks in our industry that have developed over 30 years, an entire course in senior living sales and marketing, because senior living is actually 80% private pay. And it is kind of a straight up marketing model, different than other healthcare sectors. And then there's a capstone or an internship where you go into a community, which we'd love to talk more about for our students, for any providers on here, not just senior living, but any aging services organizations. We're always looking for internships and that real world experience for our graduate students. We do have a graduate certificate for those of us on faculty on the screen. These are very popular at universities. They're basically half a master's. Most universities now have dozens of these graduate certificates. Great way to instead of 30 credit hours, 15 credit hours, in our case, focused exclusively on senior living. You can then take that graduate certificate, add it to your resume, or you can continue on and complete the entire master's. But students find graduate certificates a great way to kind of kick the tires on grad school, get back into the flow of things, and then very often decide to continue on and complete their entire master's. So it's 15 credit hours for senior living administration, same kind of core courses, some electives that fill in your skill set, and then an optional internship. And then really what this webinar today is all about, and thank you, Steve and Jamie too, for organizing this, is how we work together. You know, how do we find internships for our students? How do we find capstone research projects? How do we really work together on employment opportunities with growth potential, not just entry-level jobs, but career avenues, especially if you're a grad student. You know, the reason you go back and get a master's or a certificate is you're looking to grow in your field. You've already got some experience. And then working with the employers. Look, aging populations is the fastest growing sector for jobs pretty much worldwide for the next 20 or 30 years. Senior living alone is probably going to double from 40,000 to more than 100,000 communities by 2035, which is when the last of the baby boomers turn 70. So, and during that time, by the way, we know that 7 out of 10, what we call life plan community executive directors, are projected to retire. So we have a big, big need growing forward in senior living just for executives, let alone all the other aging services sectors. So for example, how do we partner? LCS, my company, actually, the community I work, Life Care Services, is the second largest senior living provider in the United States, and they actually supported our program. These are the kinds of partnerships we're looking for, these kind of endowments, corporate sponsorships. In the LCS Foundation model, we're using that money for scholarships for our students. So these are the kinds of partnerships we need to develop, not just internships, but financial support for students to pursue these careers. If you are interested in applying, there's information here. I know Steve will share all this. We're at fall applicants have until May 15th. So Jamie, thank you. The timing is perfect for people to go online and apply to any of these academic institutions. The graduate certificate's pretty much open any semester. You can start anytime. And then here's our contact information if you need it. And then Pam, did I miss anything?
It was perfect. I could not have done better myself. Thank you.
Awesome. No, that was really good overview there, Andy, and what a great program. And you touched on, a lot of things that why we're doing this discussion today is that for those people that are out there as employers, if you've got a project that could potentially, if you got something that you've been dying to do for a long time, but you don't have the resources and the manpower, that could be a great capstone project for a graduate student, and it could be a win-win for everybody. But anyways, we're going backwards here, so let's learn a little bit about Virginia Tech. So Pam Teester, I get the Pam T and Pam S backwards here. Pam, if you want to tell us about the tech program, and then we'll jump to UMBC. And then I want, actually, before we do this, so if you don't mind, the students that are in the audience from these three programs today, would you guys mind just raising your virtual hands for me? That's that little button at the bottom that is, it's a little yellow hand. So good. We've got a few students that have raised their hands. And so once we get through these, the description of the programs, we'd love to welcome the students to come on, talk about your experience, talk about your dreams and ambitions, and get you connected with our provider network. So Pam, you want to tell us a little bit about Virginia Tech?
Absolutely. So let me share my screen, and I'm going to hope that that works out okay. I think that's it.
There we go. Yep.
There we go. Okay. So our Center for Gerontology at Virginia Tech, we are a more program that's been going on since 1978, and it was so nice to be able to tell you that next week we will be holding our 42nd anniversary celebration for gerontology and our 29th anniversary recognition ceremony. So we graduated a lot of students through the years who have gotten a certificate in gerontology. And that's what I run. But I also want to add that Virginia Tech has a very outstanding master's to PhD program. It is generally a lot about doing research, but we have people doing all kinds of things, and they've actually gone all over the world to do them. So these are some research projects that we've been doing recently, some graduates, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that. I sort of like to do CFG by the numbers. And so this is what we sort of look like in our Center for Gerontology. We have 11 center associates, and that's actually people who are retired faculty who have done things having to do, who have done things having to do with gerontology. I think we're going to rotate. We have 96 or around 100 faculty affiliates. We have 4 staff affiliates, Friends of Gerontology, and it's going to keep rolling back because that's going to do that. We have 15 to 17 Futures Board members, about 12 certificate students at any one time, over 130 certificate recipients. And let me try this one more time. I didn't realize that rotated. And we also have undergraduate associates. We run from 1 to 4. We're at 1 right now. We have absolutely world-class gerontologists, and we have 4 of them who are the core faculty for the Center for Gerontology. Let me introduce them to you if you have not heard of them. Rosemary Bluesner, alumni distinguished professor, senior fellow, former dean, and was a director and very early on in the years of the Center for Gerontology. We like it so much, we don't leave, or like me, you come back. Karen Roberto, second director of the Center for Gerontology, executive director of an institute that funds research, senior fellow, second full-time director, university distinguished professor, 1% of faculty ever do that. Professor Laura Sands was the first editor of Innovations on Aging, the first online journal for the Gerontological Society of America. And Tina Savla, professor, our first methodologist, among all the things she does, also advisory council member for the Lindsay Institute and a recent appointee for the Commonwealth Council on Aging. Then me, the next director, and the very first graduate certificate gerontology alumni to join the VT faculty. Graduated in 1997, did a hiatus off to the University of Kentucky for 12 years and was a returner. We have 2 certificates that should have an E in there. And we have one that is for the seated group of students. That one is for, I'm going to stop the sharing because I didn't realize this thing was rotating. We have 2 certificates. One is the seated certificate that we've had a long time, and that would be for any master's, PhD, or Commonwealth campus student who wanted to pursue that. It's 9 credits. I think what my colleague Andrew said is sort of your standard certificate. One is about older adults, biopsychosocially. One is out of public health, and it's health of older persons. That one is online and has been for years. And then a third one, which you can pick, can be a practicum, can be out of FOSH, can be an independent study, can be one on policy or things that we're offering. Our newest certificate launched this fall by a person that many of you would know, Bob Loncato, and that is a new certificate called Leadership in an Aging Society. It's all online. It was all conceived before COVID, but oddly enough, we started it then. But anyway, Bob launched our course in public policy for an aging society. The second course is leadership for an aging society, because this is to groom leaders who are already in some kind of aging work, who will go out in the world and make it even a better place. You enhance what you do. And then, so teaching that course is Rich Brody and Laura Sands, and they are winding that up. In fact, I attended their class last night and it was amazing. And then the third course in the trilogy is Ethics for an Aging Society, that will be taught by outstanding people, Georgia Annitzberger and Candy Heisler, who will be doing that. We all three published a book together, Ethics for an Aging Society, and it came out this year, last year, this year, I think, years blur. But they will be talking about issues for vulnerable adults in an aging society, and that wraps up that course. Then you pick the capstone that you want to do to improve your position or in your organization. We are heavily involved in research, instruction, and outreach. We have several $1 million of grant funding. We help fund our students in that way. We do caregiving research, friendship research, health outcomes research. Some of us do elder abuse and elder rights research. We are a research entity, and we do that, and we are able to fund our students and mentor them in that way. We also teach courses. We also present. We also do one-shot wonders. We also help other universities when we teach for them. And then we are the land-grant university in Virginia. And so we do a tremendous amount of outreach around the state, and we partner up with lots of friends that we have both around this state, around the country, and actually around the world. So that's probably good enough for me for now. I'll be happy to talk later about those things.
Excellent. Great. And last but not least, Jamie from UMBC, who got this conversation going for us all. Tell us a little bit about the Erickson School of Aging Studies at UMBC.
Steve, this was all you. You had the group and the platform, so I appreciate you being able to bring this to life. So I'm Jamie, like I said, and I'm from the Erickson School of Aging Studies at UMBC. I'm going to try to keep this as brief as possible because I'm really excited to introduce our students to you and connect them to opportunities. So the Erickson School was founded in 2006 at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. We're located right in Catonsville, Maryland. So that's right outside of Baltimore City, close to DC, BWI. All of our programs are very interdisciplinary. So that means that we offer an education that blends not only a education of human aging, but we also have public policy and management principles as well. So that means our classes are taking, our students are taking classes ranging from business decision making to the art of aging. So very wide range of classes. My personal favorite part of the program was learning from our amazing faculty. I think we do a really good job of combining both faculty from a leading research institute like UMBC, and then we also have our affiliate and adjunct faculty with real world experience that they bring to the classroom. We currently have about 200 alumni who are working in the field. So those graduates are doing anything from working as nursing home administrators in the field. We also have people in sales and marketing. We have people who are creating their own businesses. So I don't know if Val Walker's on the call, but I know she's done work with Steve at some of these events before. And she created her own end-of-life care company called Doula by Destiny. So we have really incredible graduates who are just so interesting, and I can connect you with them if you're interested. So, huh?
Oh, great. No, oh, sorry. Keep on going.
I was bragging, and Steve's one of our alumni too. So I'm sure we could brag about him too. He also created his own business. So amazing graduates. So our degree programs include an undergraduate program that's a BA in Management of Aging Services. So you'll be meeting a couple of our students from that program in a few minutes. The undergraduate programs also include a minor concentration in Management of Aging Services and one in Health, Wellness, and Aging. So that's where UMBC, or we reach a lot of our UMBC pre-med students, pre-PT students. We have students from IS degrees, so information systems, technology degrees that are interested in aging or think they'll be working with older adults. Our graduate programs include a Master of Arts degree, so that's online. And then we also have 3 certificates. So those are for people who might not be interested in taking a full master's program, but want to delve into specific topics. Those are 12 credits each, and they're all online, and you complete those within a year. And then those credits can count towards a full MA if you're interested in the future. So those are in Principles of Management of Aging Services, Management of Dementia Care Services, and Seniors Housing Administration. And we are very lucky to have amazing donors. We have amazing alumni who are donors. And so we do have a lot of scholarships available, and I'm happy to put you in contact with people who have information about those. In addition to our degree programs, and this is one of the hats that I wear at the school, we have a ton of educational events that are both online webinars and in-person events once we're back in person, hopefully, fingers crossed, in the fall. And then if anybody has questions about these programs, I know I'm going through and just touching on the surface of what we do, but I can put my email in the chat box and I can get you in touch with the right people on our team. And then you can also visit our website. It's erickson.umbc.edu. And then another hat that I wear at this school that I am very passionate about, I am teaching our internship course. So I make sure all of our students get academic credit for their field experience that hopefully they're getting with organizations like you. So our internships, if you have an existing program, I can help you connect you to our students who are looking based on their interest to connect you with the right students. Or if you want to create a new program, we've created a couple of new ones this semester now that we're remote with organizations like Lori's Hands. We have students creating podcasts with them, really interesting projects since we've been remote, but we're hoping for the fall semester that these are going to start being back in person again. If we don't have a student for your particular internship that you're looking for, I also can connect you to the UMBC Career Center. They have amazing resources like online. We have a UMBC Works account that you can post positions there. And then we are starting to place students for summer and fall internships right now. So you'll meet one of those students in the chat box later. But if you want to start thinking about those, please reach out to me and I can help connect you to students. Another way to connect with us, if you have employment opportunities, we have wonderful graduates who graduate May, December every year. They're ready to start working in the field. They have this aging education behind them. So if you're looking for entry-level positions, we've got our undergraduate graduates, or even our graduate students who are currently working in the field and getting ready to graduate. They could be looking for management positions or looking to change their careers. Again, I can connect you with UMBC's Career Center. They host amazing virtual career fairs where you can post your job postings there. You can connect with students and alumni during those. So that's another great resource that UMBC has. We also have a student org I wanted to point out. So if you have volunteer opportunities with your organizations, please send them my way. Our MAGSCOM group, it's our Council of Majors, and they're also, it includes students from all over campus. They're always looking for service opportunities for their student orgs, so we'd be happy to connect you. And then I'm very excited, as Steve said, we are getting ready to celebrate Careers in Aging Week next week. So this is a huge national, hopefully international campaign one day, and we're partnering with GSA, Argentum, LeadingAge, HCA, NCAL to try and spread the word about the diverse career opportunities available in aging. So this is our opportunity to kind of show the world why we work in aging, why we love it, and try to get people involved. So there's 2 ways that you can get involved in this. One is to post on social media. So the social media campaign will last from the 18th until the 24th. So you post a story about why you got involved in aging or what you do. And then you can use the hashtag Careers in Aging and then also tag the Erickson School. And again, that is from the 18th to 24th. You can also follow the Erickson School on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram, and we'll be posting stories like one of Steve. We also are very excited. We are going to be hosting, as a part of Careers in Aging Week, a week of events from Monday to Friday next week, an event on each day. So you can look for those on our website. All of the events are bringing back our wonderful alumni, community partners to see why they're working in aging and the heroic work they've been doing, especially during the pandemic. Again, follow the Erickson School on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter to get involved with that or see what else we're doing. I can also add you to our email list. If you want to send me your contact information, I can get you on that to get involved. And then also don't forget to visit our website, erickson.umbc.edu. And that has all of the information you could possibly need.
Awesome. Wow. Okay, we've just like drinking from a fire hose learning about these three programs, but I mean, I think this is just great that there's higher education resources out there in our field. Most of us have learned about aging studies and quote unquote gerontology, you know, by just the school of hard knocks. You just sort of, all of a sudden you're in the middle of this, and knowing that there's academic programs and all the resources around them is just fantastic. So let's, the goal of today is really to connect students with organizations now and in the future. And so let's get to know some of the students. And so I asked earlier in the program for some of the students to raise their hands. I've got Carlisle Sheila, I've got Carolstadfield, and I've got Laura Bando, whose hand is raised, and Abigail Howell, who's also got their hand raised. And any other students that are in the audience that would like the opportunity to just tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe what you're looking for in the future, I urge you to just raise your virtual hand and I'll advance you to panel members. And let's see, so we've got a few students on here. I'm
Steve,
just gonna...
I think Laura was going to introduce herself via the chat box. I didn't want to put her on the spot.
Oh, okay, great. So
I didn't want to cause her any panic.
Great.
So everybody look towards the chat box, and I know Laura is looking for an internship opportunity for the fall semester this year. So she will be introducing herself in the chat box.
Awesome. Okay. Great. So check out Laura from UMBC in the chat box, looking for an internship. And I see some of the companies that are in the audience. I know this is going to be a great opportunity, but let's, I've got her sort of first on the list on my screen here, Carlisle Sheila. Carlisle, tell us a little bit about yourself. What program are you from?
Hi, thank you for having me. Sorry, I've got a little bit of a cold, so my voice sounds a bit like a frog, but yeah, so I completed my certificate in gerontology at Virginia Tech with Dr. Pamela Teester. And I also completed my Master's of Public Health at Virginia Tech and just recently graduated with my PhD in Environmental Design and Planning and focused on walkability for older adults, particularly in senior living communities. So that's my background. When I started pursuing the PhD, walkability was my passion, the built environment, but I really then honed in on the need to look at older adults and how their unique environments need to be studied, and it can't just be assumed that it's the same as people who are in a general population. And so that's where my interest really sparked in focusing on older adults. And I attended a presentation by Dr. Teester probably 5 years ago and thought, oh, what an opportunity. This can give me that kind of extra education I need in older adults, since that's my focus population. And that is where the relationship began with Dr. Pamela Teester, who ended up being on my PhD committee and where I completed the certificate in gerontology. So it was a really great pairing with my PhD education, which was not focused on older adults. My department was actually in building construction. And so I really wanted to make sure I held true to my roots of public health and focus of older adults, and the certificate program allowed me to do that. So it kind of gave me this interdisciplinary education, which I was really wanting. And now post-graduation, I graduated last month. I am working with Dr. Teester now on a project related to advanced directives and post forms here in Virginia, specifically rural Virginia. So I really feel like the certificate in gerontology was kind of the catalyst to open my eyes to different issues related to older adults, not just that of walkability, which was my PhD. And I think that this really is kind of the pathway I see myself going on. Issues related to older adults, not just what I studied. Ideally, I would like to either teach here at Virginia Tech in a faculty position, or continue on possibly in a research scientist position, doing research around older adults with a focus on public health. So that's where I am. And it's been a really cool experience to bridge all these disciplines together. And I definitely attribute the certificate to that.
Oh, this is great. And, I'd actually like to have you come back and talk about walkability on one of our discussions. We have 2 or 3 discussions a week, and it's a topic that I've been really dying to address. And so we'll make sure to reach out and get you involved with that. And so feel free to put your contact info in chat. And if anybody wants to reach out to Carlisle, by all means, congrats.
Thank you.
So let's see. Our next student that I've got here on my screen is somebody that I know, Carolstadfield. Carol, tell us, what program are you with?
Hi, Steve. Thank you. Hello, everyone. It's very nice to be here and meet and see you all. I'm in Dr. Teaster's program, a senior studying aging. And through going to a lot of Steve's events, I became very interested in gerontology, and am so pleased to be in the class. The present class that we're having, which Dr. Teaster mentioned, is like a double class regarding the organization of leadership, combined with the more biological and all the other aspects of aging. So it's a double class, 2 hours a week, and it's fantastic with 2 amazing professors and instructors. Unbelievably, just so informative and energizing. And the class is just superb. Pam attended last night, so it was very nice to have her. We're doing our end of the semester projects. So it's just a wonderful opportunity to switch gears. I've been a realtor my whole life, and my goal is to work in senior housing in some capacity, probably sales and marketing, using a lot of the same skills. But we'll see. I was going to wait till the end of the program, but I'm already speaking to some people, so I'm very excited. And if anyone up here in Northern Virginia would like to know more about the program, please contact Steve, or I'd be happy to speak with anyone. It's just a wonderful way to learn about the field from such outstanding instructors.
Great. Thanks, Carol. And I'm glad that you discovered this program. And, it's a great example of a profile of a student who's worked a long career and sort of addressed older adults, but now being able to jump into a certificate program, get a little bit more insight and academic training to further your career direction. So that's great. So now I've got on my right that is Abigail Howell. Abigail, what program are you with?
So I'm with Georgetown. I'm actually an undergraduate there, but I've taken a few classes with the Aging and Health program. So a little bit about myself. So I'm a junior at Georgetown undergrad studying psychology. And I really just got into the aging field my freshman year of college. So when I was applying to Georgetown, I had no idea about the program. I had no idea what I wanted to do, but I got super lucky that this program is actually here. I've had some experience working in adult day health centers for people living with dementia. And that's really what got me started in this field. I love the experience. So I've continued, and I've done some research at Georgetown Memory Disorders program. I've also worked as a nursing assistant. At the beginning of COVID, I worked in a nursing home on the memory care floor for about 6 months. And then after that, and when I went back to school this fall semester, I've done some research with UNC Chapel Hill on lower rates of COVID in small house nursing homes. I've done some work at a dementia nonprofit, running a pilot project on virtual adult day health for people with dementia. So I did that this fall, winter time for the funding period. And I currently am interning at the Greenhouse Project, which is a culture change organization for different nursing homes. So My experience with Georgetown's master's program, I've taken, I think this is my third class, and I will keep taking them as long as I can. I've really enjoyed it. I think what's really special about this program is the small class size. In my undergraduate classes, I would say my smallest one is probably 20 people. And I always look forward to the classes in this master's program because I feel like I have such a good relationship with the other students along with the professors. And I've been able to get such great career advice and just like setting me up with different connections in the gerontology field, which I'm super grateful for. I found everyone to be super inclusive and everyone to have such interesting experience. I think that's another thing that makes these classes special for my undergrad classes, because people are coming with such a wealth of experiences and different backgrounds. And I've been super grateful to that or for that. So, and I think everyone also has different career goals in aging, which is super cool to be around because I can learn so much from my classmates. As for myself in the future, I want to hopefully, so I'm a junior, so I'm looking towards post-graduation plans right now. My ideal future would be to do a joint master's PhD program for social work with older adults. I ideally would want to be able to do research and some teaching along with some clinical work. I'm very interested in working with people with dementia. I want to do hopefully research in person-centered psychosocial interventions for people with dementia and their care partners, and also some mental health support for care partners for people living with dementia. Similar to Dr. Saunders, I'm very interested in communication between medical professionals and people with dementia, especially I want to look at in hospital settings or emergency room settings. And then lastly, I'm also curious about therapeutic intervention for people with early stage Alzheimer's. But yeah, I cannot thank Dr. Saunders enough for including me in this program. I've really learned a lot, and I hope to continue doing it next year.
This is great. Wow. This really gives us all hope for the future of aging with these great students, and what great resources to tap into with some of these research projects. You know, I can see where organizations in the audience could partner and potentially, you know, sort of some of the research could be done on your residents, patients, what have you. So let's see. I want to, okay, any other students in the audience that would like to say a few words and introduce themselves, just raise your virtual hand. But I see that we've got a representative from LeadingAge. I think it's Christy. Christy, if you'd be willing to raise your virtual hand, the representative from LeadingAge, I would love for you to share the program that LeadingAge has for students. I think that would be really relevant to this conversation. So I'm gonna bring you over, Christy Kramer, to talk about that, because oh, and we've got another person, Nafili, so I'm bringing Nafili over too. But Christy, you're from LeadingAge, and I understand you've got some great resources for students and organizations.
Absolutely. Thanks for introducing me. I'm really happy to be here. And I know so many of you that are on the call and love working with your program. So nice to see you all. So LeadingAge, I would say about a year and a half ago, we started putting some really strong resources towards developing things for students. And if you go to leadingage.org/students, you can go to our student center and there's a bunch of resources there for students. We also have a summer enrichment program, which we have launched this year, and members from across the country. We have, I believe, about 30 members across the country who have agreed to host interns, paid internships at their sites across the country, with a lot of facilitation and some metrics to make sure that the internships are quality internships. So if you go to our careers.leadingage.org page, that's our job board for any careers in aging, we do have a tab for internship opportunities. And if you are a LeadingAge member, you can post your internship opportunities there for free. If you're not a Leading Age member, I believe there's a small fee to post there, but we really are looking forward to having a place where all students can go to, that they know that there will be internships available to them in aging services. So it's kind of a one-stop shop for them. The other thing too that we have is a new podcast that is student directed called The Mentor's Voice. And students, and if there's any students that are out there that are interested in being a podcast host, students interview leaders in the field. It's really interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah, so we're on our 11th episode coming up, and they interview all different types of leaders about their career journeys and why they got into aging. So those are just some of the highlights. We have a whole lot more too.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, no, I got an email from your colleague at LeadingAge this morning when they saw that we were doing this, and I was like, oh, you got to come on. So I'm really glad you shared that resource. And yeah, you students that are on the call, get out there and I love that podcast idea. That's a really great one. Okay, let's see. I've got Nafili. Nafili, what program are you a part of?
Hello. Hi. Sorry, I joined the session late, so I missed the introductions. My name's Nefeli Andoniatis. I'm in the program at Georgetown. So I'm in the Masters in Aging and Health program. So hello, everybody. I'm not even sure who's here in the Zoom world, but I'm glad to join you. I actually have a background in the arts. I'm a theater artist and a community engaged art maker, and have been a professor of theater arts for many years. And so for me, the journey into being a graduate student again has been fantastic. I was drawn to the interdisciplinary nature of the program, which I'm finding to be really broad and pretty fascinating. My goal, I think I developed my interest in aging and health through personal family experiences, perhaps as many of us do, and working through aging processes with my family members. I became really fascinated with the changes that were happening. And so one of my interests that brought me into the program was an interest in bringing arts, creative practice, artistic practice into the core of aging. My belief and what I am learning is even more about is the ways in which creativity and artistic practice is at the heart of well-being and is a place for us to generate programming and paths forward that reach everybody. I also, the program is opening up a lot of other interests, and so built environment, housing, the interrelationships of community, the importance of community and community-based settings are also growing interests of mine as I sort of hang all of that on sort of the theoretical frameworks that we're understanding as well. So Georgetown has a couple of tracks. I'm in the economics and policy track. So that is my focus, working towards policy change. And my idea is to bridge the arts into this, build that bridge and sort of support policy in that way.
Wow, really interesting. Boy, this is really great. There are so many different directions, and all inspired by the different programs that you guys are in. We have Alex Brown, who's actually from a program that is we haven't talked about, but he's on this call. He's from Pitt. Alex, did you want to talk about what you're doing up about your program in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, so I am at the University of Pittsburgh. I'm studying neuroscience with a minor in chemistry. It's built in. I didn't do anything special. So I kind of got into gerontology in a very weird kind of way. It was kind of just this beautiful interaction of accidents that kind of snowballed me into kind of leading to wanting to expand my knowledge. So I actually, before I attended Pitt, I'm from North Carolina, and I went in-state because my parents wanted me to. And so I attended the Appalachian State University, and I took adult development, and it was insane. I just connected with the material just so much, and I just loved aging. And it was just this really beautiful class to me. And so we were doing a unit on Alzheimer's disease, and the materials we were provided were from the University of Pittsburgh for that unit, and it really stuck with me. I had no idea that 4 years later I would actually be attending that university and be actually working with some of the faculty that actually cultivated these resources for physicians and for education. And so it's been a really beautiful journey because at the University of Pittsburgh, we actually kind of work really closely with Carnegie Mellon. So you have the direct association with, so basically if you go and see all of the neuroscience quote unquote faculty, it's faculty not just from the University of Pittsburgh, it's faculty from both universities. So they actually expand our student body to have these different experiences. And through that, you get access to all these different levels of gerontology. So they might not call it that, it is kind of related. So because biogerontology is this huge field that's blowing up and exploding right now. And that's kind of where I started to shift my interest, was kind of going towards the biogerontology direction. But with COVID, my love for public health, my love for policy, my love for all of these things kind of just blew up, because it's such a need for the future. So I'm still torn. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I love research. I love all of these different aspects of it. Research is a really big part of my life right now, but I'm kind of making next steps, and I don't know whether I want something more research driven or more, working towards policy and developing programs and things, but that's kind of where I'm at.
This is great. I really appreciate you jumping on and sharing your insight. And I can't believe that we're at the top of the hour, that we've gone through a whole hour, but I'm really pleasantly, this has exceeded my expectations, in that we got to know about 3 academic programs. We got to meet some faculty, some students. It's really given me personal encouragement about our future. And it really, I don't know about you all in the audience, those that are here sort of listening in and thinking about these, working with these organizations and individuals, but I see lots of paths on where we can blend the provider community and the academics and students and make it a better place for older adults. So I hope that this discussion creates opportunities for all of us. With that, any closing thoughts? I'll have a recording of this. I'll share the chat with everybody. So make sure that to type in your contact information. And, I sort of see this as first of many ways that we can team up together.
Steve, this is terrific. I appreciate being part of it.
Yeah.
It's very nice. Nice to meet you all.
Okay.
Nice to meet you too.
Nice group of people.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, with that, we will be talking to you soon, and everybody look for the follow-up here in the next day or so. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye, Pam.